Hey guys, Sal Priest here. So today we're going to be pulling the cam cover off of the 1987 944S. The 944S was made from 1987 until 1989, at which point they introduced an S2 that replaced the S model. So, I've got all of our bolts loosened up. These are interesting style of bolts because they're long, and if you can see, they've got gaskets on them. They've got a little washer plate on them that's curved, and then they have a gasket that goes into the top, and then it sinks in through the bottom. And of course, the cam cover gasket underneath is what scares all the oil in through that round. So, but since there's an opening to the top here, you see that there's a gasket complete on these. Now, these bolts are a bit of a pain because sometimes they strip out. If they strip out, you got to replace them. It's the only way to go, and they're pretty expensive. Pelican Parts is about the best place to go from what I've found to get these genuine, good quality bolts. And sometimes they want to twist. You see, since I've had this thing apart a few times, they've twisted. Some of these really need to be replaced at this point. So let's pull this apart. Let's get into some of the components here inside the overhead cam setup. Ooh, baby, been a while since I've been in here, since I fully overhauled this thing. Okay. So, an important thing to note, now you've got gaskets, you've got covers all around on this. Spark plugs, make sure whatever you're looking at, whatever you're doing, you grab them. Use the gaskets for the spark plug, covers, and then you have gaskets for the entire cam unit itself, which you can see I just left on there. I replaced that not too long ago when I did the overhaul, so I'm going to keep that. That's in good shape. And we've got these blow-offs. I forget. I'm not even sure what these are for. They might be for like oil return or some other like breathers or whatever. But they have little gaskets on them. I'm sorry, not gaskets. They have circlips on them, and they're plastic, so they can pop right off, as you see on the other side here. So they pop off for if you want to do modifications, put oil pressure lines, oil pressure monitors, whatever the case. You have a little adjustability with that. This car, I'm going to take this off the camera. This car came with a lot of race modifications in mind, and one of those is the, here, if you can zoom in here, one of those is the cam timing gear. As you can see, you can actually manually adjust the timing. Let me get zoomed in there. Let's go manual. You can manually adjust. Geez, I guess that's as close as I can go. No macro in video mode. You can see right through here, this is adjustable. So I can adjust this left or right within here for the timing of this unit. Actually, I'm sorry. It doesn't affect the distributor or the timing of the spark. That actually does not get affected from this. Just the actual timing of the gear itself, because as the housing behind it, this will stay in place wherever it's at. It's just going to affect the timing of the gearing on this, I believe. Yeah. So as we look in here, there's actually one important thing to keep in mind here. That's this unit right here. Now, when you have oil pressure, this will be up. This is the chain that connects the cam shafts. This is a dual overhead cam versus the single overhead cam. So 4 valves per cylinder gives you a total of 16. Okay, this is what we have here. These are our goods. This is the core to the 16 valve S model engine. This is what gives this thing power. It's great. So nothing really to note in here. You've got 2 typical camshafts. They're connected by this timing chain that runs right here. The only thing you need to look into replacing after long periods of wear is this oil line and the pressurized guide. That guide is oil pressured. Now the guide, you can see, is, let me zoom in on it. That's your guide right there. So what that guide does is put pressure on that chain to keep the it puts pressure on the chain that connects those two, as you can see with that cylinder that comes in right there, and it just puts pressure on that chain. This is the one area they've been known to cause to wear. This plastic piece will wear, and sometimes they start to go old after a while, but I haven't had any issues with mine. As far as the wear goes on mine, when I took it off, there wasn't really any grooves. If you have grooves, it's time to replace it. I didn't have any grooves, and it still doesn't look like there's any grooves, so I'm going to keep it the way it is. So these are things you want to do, you want to look at when you're inspecting different elements of your engine as you have it off. So I'm going to take a look, maybe get this head off. The head bolts are a little hard to get at without taking the timing, or without taking the cams off, but I'm going to try to do that because I don't really want to take the cams off unless I really have to. As I stated before, I'm going to inspect them to see if there's an issue. There may not be an issue. And I also want to check the timing of everything, make sure nothing skipped tubes or anything like that. So I'll be doing that, and we will continue on. All right, signing out, Sal Carapers.